the Shivers family, a family of investigators about to be pulled into the biggest investigation of their life, complete with mysteries, puzzles, supernatural elements, and a pop-up book. Yes, today I am bringing you a Kickstarter preview. This is the game Shivers from Pop Fiction. Now you're going to see the game already set up here in front of me. You might be asking yourself, you don't see much. That's because one player is going to be taking on the role of the storyteller, and the other players are going to be spread out in front of them at the table. Now you will see that each player has chosen a character, each one a member of the Shivers family, and you have a dry erase character sheet with a marker to mark down your clues and evidence and items that you find. Now, this is a cooperative role-playing experience. It is a very rules-light game. In fact, the storyteller is not against the players. It is not a one versus many situation. In fact, your role as the storyteller is to help the characters progress. And to assist in this, you're going to have a variety of components. Behind the box, I'm hiding a die that's going to be used to determine success or failure. You're going to have the minis, or what I have as standees here in the game. We'll see what the final version of these is going to look like. And you're going to have all of the episode information you need. Today I have the episode 0, which is Flight of the Bumblebee, which is kind of an introductory adventure. The storyteller player is going to be able to unfold this, and it's going to give them an introduction to the case. And on the back, it's actually going to give them a walkthrough of how the case is supposed to progress. You're going to have a timeline down at the bottom that shows the clues that are needed. In addition, I'm going to have additional buildings that I can put in front of me, or rooms that will build onto this manner. Like I said, this is a pop-up game. So what does that mean? Well, you see here, the box becomes the house. As the characters first enter the house, you're going to remove that and show the interior. Now this mission takes place in the parlor. And you can see that this is, of course, a proof of concept prototype. This is all just made out of paper here put together. This is not what the final product is going to look like. So I do want to stress that. Try to take that from your mind, because this is just a basic prototype. But you'll see here all of the pop-up elements of the game, and each player is going to have a little standee in here that represents their character, basically to denote which room they're in. Now, from here, the rules light aspect of the game becomes very evident. In fact, on each player's turn, they can simply take an action. They can just tell the storyteller what they want to do. Do they want to look at a lamp? Do they want to play the piano? Do they want to try to open one of the doors that lead to the east or the west? Do they want to interact with a particular object in the room? Now, the storyteller is going to have a sheet tucked away in the back of this, and you'll see right here for episode 0, and it's going to have different things appearing in the scene based on which case you're taking. But this is going to tell me what happens if they look at any particular items. Some of these items are very important, and you'll see here in gold, basically text that the storyteller can read. Now, as this is a role-playing game that's designed for lighter audience or families or people that enjoy a rules-light narrative experience, your job is actually almost like the DM, to bring to life the scene and to bring to life the environments. And you're going to be doing that by taking on voices or roles, or just however you want to bring that energy to the table. But each player on their turn is just going to ask to interact with something. They might look at the vase of roses, and I can say, well, you see a bee and some water. There's a bee in this vase. Well, is that important? Maybe. It's up to the players. They can take their character sheets, and you'll see here, like I said, it's dry erase, and they can write down, okay, there was a bee. Is that something that's going to be important? I don't know, maybe not. But they don't know. The entire mystery of the game lies in these clues that the storyteller is going to tell them. Now you'll see that there is just one room to start the game. That is the parlor. Now this guide that I have, that I told you about, is going to tell me when to place new rooms. It's going to give me clues that I can read out loud to the players, and it's going to basically guide me through this scenario. So at a certain moment, I might put out another room. And these other rooms I've got hidden in behind me. And they're going to appear like this, little pop-up books. For example, the private library. It's going to give me a little bit of information to read out loud, and then I'm going to add this book. And you'll see here how that pops up, and this is actually going to magnetically connect to the next room. Now the layout and arrangement of these rooms is going to be based on the scenario, but now you have the private library. You have a new room that you can move into and potentially explore. And again, I have another sheet tucked in here that tells me what happens in the library. Again, there are clues that they can find, and there are even clues printed inside the pop-up book. You'll see, if you can see on the rug here, you'll see the letters and numbers. Well, that might become an important clue. You'll see the bookshelf. There are certain things hidden in that bookshelf that might become an important clue. And along the way, you might discover enemies that appear. And you'll have these tokens behind the board, or standees or minis, or whatever the final version looks like. These can appear as well when directed by the book. Now, these monsters are going to come out, and again, this is a very rules-light game. Combat is handled just with the roll of the die. On a player's turn, they can decide, do I want to fight that monster? They can use their imagination. I pick up a pool cue and I swing it at the monster, or I run, or they can use a weapon or cast a spell. Either way, it's handled by this die. This die has a few sides. Doesn't work, kind of works, backfires, and it works. Based on which they roll, they're just going to infuse a little flavor into the story. If it doesn't work, they might suffer some damage, and it might give them a chance to try again in the next turn. Now, there isn't really like health or damage or winning or losing in this game. It's all about how they progress through the adventure and if they can solve the case. However, for more expert mode, you can give out what are called cookies. Each character can take on these cookies, and when they take damage, they lose the cookies, and they can earn them through puzzle solving and things like that. And they can also turn these cookies in for clues or help progressing. And you're going to see on the bottom of the board a little cookie row that shows they can circle those whenever they get one. But like I said, it's all very fluid, it's all very narrative, it's all kind of based on how the storyteller wants to handle it. But these are going to appear throughout the game. And for my scenario, I do have 3 total rooms. So I'll open the last room here and show you what that looks like. And we have here the mysterious laboratory, again with its own clue card. Now, at a certain point, one of these tiles or one of these clues in this booklet is going to tell you to go to the end game. The end game is an entire page here in the booklet that's going to tell you how to end the case. Now, it will usually end with in some dramatic fashion. In this case, maybe this giant bee appears and starts harassing the players. They need to figure out a way to defeat that giant bee or escape that bee. And they can do this using clues that they've pulled throughout the adventure so far. Now, like I said, this setup is just a prologue scenario 0 that they gave me, so no spoilers here. But if you're looking for a cooperative game you can play with your families, one that is going to allow you to kind of tell your own adventures together with a fun little pop-up book element, this game is appropriate for all ages. You can tone the difficulty, you can tone the horror and supernatural elements based on your audience. You have the flexibility here to go through these scenarios in any way you see fit, or you can just make up your own scenarios using all the components. I just have 3 rooms here, but there are going to be more rooms that come with the final version, and including more of these scenarios. I just have this one scenario book. So that is basically an overview of Shivers. Like I said, very rules light. So if you are looking for a way to introduce role-playing to a board gaming audience, or play with some people that are a little young for other popular role-playing games, this is going to be a great example. And when it comes to these cool components, you really can't beat playing with a pop-up book. So that is the Shivers. This game is on Kickstarter, so take a look at the Kickstarter page, see what the final version of these components is going to look like. And as always, come back here, let me know what you're most excited about, ask any questions, leave some comments, and thank you for watching, subscribing, and following us at MVM, and I will see you next time.